Whoa,
That just kicked right in, didn't it?
it's abrupt.
Hello, Gloucester Township. I am Joe Allen here with Keith Gibbons, and welcome to the Story GT podcast. Kind of an unscheduled.
Yeah, it was a spur of the moment. We had some time. We have a couple topics to talk about, so we figured we'd jump on here and kill some time here.
A couple days ago, somebody said to me, "Hey, you guys, I love your podcast, but you should talk about. You want a topic? Check out the Moffa's farm."
Yeah, and it's really interesting when you look into it. I had never heard of this. Joe, I don't think you ever heard of this.
I never heard of it. I had no idea. I'm not familiar with that whole section of Gloucester Township over there in Blenheim.
Yeah, it's kind of on the outskirts of town of Blenheim.
Yeah,
almost on the border of like Deptford over there, and it's along what's that Timber Creek? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's Timber Creek.
Yeah,
and it's so the story that I had gotten was from somebody that had been involved back in politics quite a few years ago.
Yeah, this is all around 2005, I believe, is when.
So I guess this farm, the Moffa's family farm. I don't know. I basically learned what I could learn today. So this farm had been around since the 1700s. It was built.
Yeah, it was old, like the oldest building, like the oldest house.
They're saying like it's probably
in
one of the,
Camden County. Like it's older than Gabriel Davies Tavern, which is our town's like
the big historical place.
Historical place. But apparently this is actually older. But go ahead. You were.
I think there used to be a restaurant on the property. There was a house. It's the Moffa's family farm, and then on that property is the Marshall House. It is.
Yeah, I forget what the name of it was. Something the Marshall, but it was an interesting read though. Who knows how big this farm was? Again, like he said, we just kind of learned about this. We're going to get more into it and do some more explaining, later on. But at the time of when this all was going about, that the person had brought up, it was about roughly 60 acres or so of land that was on the creek there.
60 acres, and I think what happened was the Moffa's family.
It defaulted on taxes, basically.
I think they sold the property off to someone else, or they had passed away. Someone else got the property, and then they defaulted on taxes.
Right.
Apparently for a really long time, I guess, because it was quite a tax bill.
Yeah, it was about $180,000 in back taxes, plus then the interest on top of that, late fees. It came to roughly $500,000 or so that the town was they were owed. From there, because of the way it kind of works, if you're that behind on your taxes, there's tax liens, and they end up the township owns the property there. What had happened, from what we understand, is and I believe it has to do with the current project that's going on in Belmar now with the intersections of where 295 was missing the connection to the other 295 and 42, where that all meets right there right now. That the developer for that there was going into wetlands. And in order for Green Acres to allow them to go do that, they said, well, you need to preserve, at a 2-to-1 ratio of wetlands somewhere else in Camden County there. So what happened was, this piece of land that Gloucester Township owned, a developer came and said, hey, we'd like to preserve this. Well, that turned into a whole can of worms, because apparently, if we fast forward later on, they had other plans in mind for some other people, that they did not want someone to get this and preserve this land. It's very similar to some other recent.
It sounds very familiar.
Yeah, it's a very familiar
story. A lot of the stuff that we've dealt with, which made it such an interesting story that we thought it basically popped up this morning.
Yeah,
that we talked about it, and then it was like, hey, right after work, let's go take a ride.
Right.
Check it out. And so the story that I'd gotten was that back in the early 2000s, when they were going to redevelop it, they were going to tear the house down. And then I guess some folks stepped in.
Right, so that's a historic landmark. You can't, tear this down.
Yeah, like I think 2 council members wanted to save it, and I think it wound up being the planning board. I think also agreed to save it, where council wanted to just have it torn down and then sold off to a developer.
Yeah,
and somehow at some point it was saved.
Yeah, so the story kind of went from what we understood that the town, similar to how the warehouse that was over on, what road is that?
Which one?
The big warehouse that was over on the golf course.
Oh, the Sicklerville Road.
Sicklerville Road, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. Similar to how that went down, where the room was filled at the council or the planning board meeting that night, that they saw like, hey, this is an uproar here. So something happened. Apparently they voted to demolish it. Then it went to the planning board, and they've said, no, we can't do that. So then it goes back to council, which then I believe changed their vote to not knock it down. But if you look at the current state of it, they didn't preserve it whatsoever. It was basically it was deemed that this is a historic site. It should be preserved. And instead of preserving it, what they've done, and we'll show you through the videos that we have here, they basically demoed it by neglect. They're waiting for it to just fall down, I think.
And that's how it came up. When somebody was saying that they watched our podcast and they said, here's something you guys should look into. Here's a property that we saved maybe 15, 20 years ago. We saved it from demolition. And it's a historic house that should not be demolished.
Yeah.
But the township wanted it gone, and the township lost the battle, and the people won the battle. But
so
how the township
in that fight, not to cut you off there, but in that fight there were plans of this, because there's existing houses and other properties that are around it. So they had plans of using eminent domain to go and take people's homes away from them, to then develop out an age restricted development over here, and do such and such houses over here, and do all. There was a master plan going on behind the scenes that no one was aware of. People's houses that were potentially going to be under eminent domain were not even aware that they're were in this, and it goes into these whole redevelopment areas and zones that we talk about that. We probably misuse the terms because we're not land development experts over here.
Yeah.
But these things all matter, and the town was going and using the powers that they have to further somebody financially here, and within this plan, there was somebody that was a political donor from one of the PACs that council members were in, who's a developer that they're denying development from. Somebody who's coming and offering them money, over $1 million, for to preserve this land, which the town you would think just says, oh, okay, great, yeah, we're not doing anything with it anyway. We're not, if you want to preserve it, go ahead, you do it. But you move forward to today and you go over there, you wouldn't know that piece of property exists. I mean, it is hidden away, and it's. I don't think they want anybody talking about this.
I never knew it was there. And that's exactly what the people that brought this up to me. They said, look, we won this battle, and the township had to preserve the land, but all they did was put a big fence around it, and it's just sitting back there, rotting away. And one day it's gonna collapse, and it's no longer going to be a historic property.
Right.
They're going to doze.
Then they can go and do it.
They're going to bulldoze it, and they're going to build on it.
Yep.
So they said, you know what? You want an interesting topic? Go check it out. And honestly,
I'm glad they did. I wish more people would give us some topics like that, because this is, there's other stories out there that we'd love to hear love to investigate and bring to light to other people.
This is kind of my first time out on the road. You've had all.
Oh yeah. Joe's out on the road today.
Exciting.
I got pictures of him. He's out there with his camera.
I bought a ton.
He found a toilet in the woods.
All kinds of new equipment to go out there and just record. I got a big gimbal that I don't know how to use, and all kinds of cool stuff, because I was inspired by the work that you've done.
Yeah.
And So yeah, we got a lot of video and a lot of
we have a short clip too of like just here's
play
some
the clip.
there's stuff. We'll put a link to them. There's 2 different YouTubes that videos that someone had done
15
years ago, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And we'll put them in the links in the bottom. But here's a shortened version just to get an idea.
On April 25th, 2005, a meeting of the Gloucester Township Council was held.
You recognize any names on there?
Out of the council members shown here, only 2 voted against the hasty demolition of the Moffa farmhouse.
My client would offer to pick up the back tax bill, which is a substantial amount of money, approaching $500,000, to give to the town in order to...
Yesterday was the first day I found out about this. I didn't even know that you existed until yet last night. I know nothing about the Velcom. I have no contact information about your organization, who your principals are, and to come here and ask for 30 days, I don't think that's feasible, to be quite honest with you.
Some of the people from the Velcom spoke. Afterwards, council formed a subcommittee.
Council President Bianchini appointed Councilman Mercado, Hutchison, and Schmidt to investigate DeVelcom's offer and other possibilities for Moffa's farm. DeVelcom offered Gloucester Township $1,075,000 to purchase and preserve Moffa's farm. Recently, new evidence has surfaced, including this map obtained from the Gloucester Township Municipal Building. In the corner of the page is written the name Addison, which stands for Addison Bradley, whose wife is a member of the political committee to which most of the council members belong to. Addison is also a developer.
Man, nothing's changed.
Nothing since 2005.
2005, nothing's changed. Same 2 council guys that we've talked a lot about.
Yeah, one is the council president, so he's the one that usually is always speaking, and then the other one is the one that is allowed to interrupt and do whatever he wants. Those 2 have been together quite some time up there, apparently.
Our current council president was apparently council vice president
Yeah,
all the way back then.
That was 2005. That he was just elected onto the council
went,
in
like,
2004.
From kindergarten to high school, basically, just
Yeah.
right up there. He's
Yeah, so this deal was one of interest back then, and it seems to be wanting to be hidden from the looks of it, from what we've, our on-the-scenes reporting, has done. But
there's a lot of
because
signs.
of that, we'll bring it out and
a lot of signs
shed
around
some
it,
light on it.
telling a lot of signs actually everywhere saying no trespassing. We did wind up calling the historical Gloucester Township Historical Society to ask them if we could go back there, so that we didn't wind up doing a video from jail.
Right.
And they
Which
said
is
it was,
we questioned if it is public property. Like, can you even be trespassed from it? Like, it's posted. There's signs when you go back there too that are like, this is private property. So we're not exactly sure who owns. I haven't gotten that much. Again, we just found out today about this, but can you be trespassed from public property?
I don't know. Yeah, I didn't get a clear answer on who owns the property. But
Yeah,
from the videos, it sounds like the township owns the property, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
We'll have to do some digging on it.
There's definitely nothing going on with it. The person from this historical society said that she hopes that more attention is brought to this property.
Well, yeah, she said it's not forgotten. They haven't forgotten
Yes.
it.
So
They're the historical society, though, so they don't forget much. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I don't know. I'd love to do our part in.
Yeah, whatever we can do to help shed some light.
Open space hasn't been our thing. We know it's a big thing with a good friend of ours. So I don't know. This is one of those things that I think that it's a good spot for open space, but it's something that we will we got some raw stuff on cameras, and we're gonna throw it up there, and you guys can check it out. And hey, if you know anything else about it,
yeah, please let us know.
absolutely comment on the posts and let us know, and we'll cover it more.
Yep. So stay tuned, guys.
Yeah, stay tuned, and we'll see you guys soon.